Hello again, it's me. How does a servo mechanism like the human brain achieve a goal? So this is a good question. When it comes to goals, we must know the answer of this question in order to achieve our goals. Whatever it could be. It can maybe be to take a shower, it can maybe to brush your teeth, or it can be to get 10k a month income, okay? So yeah, in order to know this and before we get into the answer, I want you to have in mind that every brain is millions of years old, okay? Everyone's neuroning system is neuron wiring is the same. So your neuron system, how your brain is wired right now while you're listening, is the same as the Bill Gates's, okay? Is the same as the Jeff Bezos. Is the same of the Alex Hormozzi, Iman Gaji, and so many other successful individuals. It's the same neural wiring. Excuse me. So this gives us the point that everyone has an ability to achieve better results than it has at the moment. So keep in mind that the way you are wired is the same as the way the most successful people were wired, as well as Marcus Aurelius. Okay, let's continue to answer. It achieves a goal by using negative feedback or by going forward, making mistakes, and immediately correcting its course. So this is according to Dr. Maltz, and yeah, this is a great point because it gives us this kind of freedom to be more diligent and more temperate, more courageous to take action beside making mistakes. So it's the it achieves the goal by using negative feedback. This is a technique which is used, and it's a great technique you can use. It's called inversion. For example, uh, you want to make a perfect cake, okay? You're going to list an ingredient which you don't like. For example, I don't like nuts. For example, I like nuts, but for example, uh, nuts, eggs, and you are this is then you're going to use inversion, and make a cake which does not have nuts and does not have eggs. Or for example, you want to read a book, and it's a big book, and in order to read this big book and you want to use this inversion, you are going to invert it like this. I am not going to read it in a day, or I'm not going to read it in a month. For example, it's a Bible, for example. Excuse me. And yeah, the inversion is a negative thing, negative feedback, okay? It's a negative one, which you define it and then you invert it. Next is by going forward and making mistakes and immediately correcting its course. This is very simple one to understand, and we all know this. Everyone talks about it on the internet that you must take action, you must take action, you must take action. This is what they're meaning by taking action, by going forward, making mistakes, and immediately correcting immediately correcting your course. Okay, so that's the main point. Now the key sauce right now in this video: small shifts for mind. This answer, with what we can get it from this is that this means criticism could be good because it's going to give the negative feedback, and this helps us to achieve our goals. It states directly. Next one is this means mistakes are vital. By going forward, making mistakes, and immediately correcting its course. Mistakes are vital. Action is the heart of any success. This is what we call action. Trials and errors are necessary part to improve. It's definitely necessary part to improve, and we understand why it's necessary to improve. This is a great example of any kind of movement. We're going to have trials, we're going to have errors, we're going to have successes, we're going to have small wins, big wins, and then we'll achieve the goal. Okay. Next one is breaking promises even to yourself is a good sign towards success. If you take it as a negative thing, so if you take it as a negative thing, it's a good sign because you are reprogramming yourself that breaking promises even to yourself is a negative thing. So this means to fix and immediately correct the course, and this means to okay, now I understand that if the breaking promise even to myself is a negative sign, negative thing, then I'm going to keep my promises. And this reprograms yourself using immersion, using this method. Then, provoking others by temper is a good sign if you get the manual, like Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. So, for example, there could be a person watching this and have this kind of like, so to call, so to speak, anger issues, which is called, in many cases, it's because of the high, sorry, excuse me, it's because of the high testosterone. So this is not a very bad time if you don't like break things and just kill someone or something like that. So this is a great disclaimer. This is only for educational purposes, okay? So uh, if you are provoking others by your temper, it's a good sign because this will give you the motivation for you to become better person in a way that you'll have the manual to control your temper and anger. So this is a great sign. Next one is last one. Making not as planned, making not as it should be, is a sign that you are growing and becoming a better person. For example, you have this kind of idea, this kind of like vision, and you want to make it real. You want to make it into manifest it into your life. So when you start doing it, it won't be as planned. It won't be as it should be. Okay, like you imagine, you know the final goal. You start from the end of the end in the mind, and you know that by this I'm going to make X amount of money. I'm going to have amount of habits, and by this I'm going to have Z kind of feeling when I achieve this goal. So this is the end in mind. And when you start making the progress, making not as planned is it in most cases it will be like this. Like 90%, 99% of the time, how you planned won't work if you don't know how to plan. And I'm gonna make the video how to plan it, and it will shorten that amount of percentage around 50. So yeah, and the next one, making not as it should be. It won't be as it should be like you imagine in the end in mind. You're going to reprogress it, like invert this time period and come to the point where you're right now. Only just having in mind that this is the end in mind and just manifesting it won't work. Okay, you must add some kind of layers on it. For example, you start end in mind and then you progress it toward yourself, what kind of steps you are going to take in order to get to this point. Okay, the way won't be so direct, but you are going to move forward and making mistakes, and you are going to immediately correct the course because you have the vision. Bye now, thanks for watching. Bye now, bye bye.